Hello. It's been a while since I've recorded myself doing anything, but I wanted to record this just in case it helps anybody with what I'm going through at the moment. So about a month ago, I had a routine mammogram, and I know this sounds crazy, but the mammogram before this one was about 5 years ago, back in 2011. Everything was clear and everything. So when I got this one, got a call back from the doctor 2 weeks later, and they said they wanted to do another mammogram. I said, okay, this is not the first time that I've had to go back for a second mammogram. One time, apparently there was a piece of lint on me when I got the mammogram, and so it was all clear. So I wasn't really too worried about going back for a second mammogram. So I went back for a second mammogram. They did both breasts, and once they got finished with that, I went to the waiting area, and they said they would call me if they needed to do anything else. So I sat there for about maybe 10, 15 minutes. The nurse came back out and said that the doctor found something on my right breast, and they wanted to do another very detailed mammogram and an ultrasound. So right then and there, I started getting worried because I'm at that age. I'm actually a year younger than my mom when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I was getting a little worried. Went back in, got the second mammogram on just the right breast, and then they did the ultrasound. So when they did the ultrasound, they actually saw a mass. And of course I asked because, some things in the breast, it could be a cyst, or, it could be solid. So I immediately asked if it was solid, and they said yes. So I'm laying there. They're continuing to do the ultrasound. They're sizing it. Turns out it's 8 milligrams. So when I saw it up on the screen, of course they magnify it, but I didn't know, but it looked huge, like a big softball size. So that kind of scared me, but they said, no, it's just 8 millimeters. And, we want you to have a biopsy. I said, okay. So, and the ultrasound was last week. So I called in, made an appointment on this past Monday for today. So went in today, and I just want to take you guys through the steps that I went through. I don't know if it's going to be the same for you, but this is what happened when I went in. Of course, you go in and change, you put the gown on with the opening in the front. They lead you back to a little office, I guess just to fill out paperwork. That's how they did me. I filled out some paperwork, signature and everything, insurance information, I guess. And then the doctor comes in. Well, the nurse was the one that took my paperwork. Really nice lady. Her name is Kim. She's very upbeat, kept me engaged and everything because I was trying to read a magazine. I have to be distracted from stuff like that. So I brought a magazine and I was trying to read it, and she said, well, you're not going to be reading a magazine today. I'm going to be talking to you, taking you through the steps and everything. So I was like, fine. But she was cool about it. Anyway, the doctor comes in. Well, he's a resident, really nice guy. He asked me if I had any questions, and I knew about biopsies from my mom, and I asked him, was it going to be a fine needle or was it going to be a core? Now, fine needle, just little tiny needle that they stick in. I guess it basically takes out fluid if there's fluid in there. But since mine didn't have fluid in it, it was like a solid mass, I would have to go through a core biopsy, and it's a core vacuum assisted biopsy. And basically what he told me was he's going to numb me, and then they're going to with the ultrasound, they're going to guide the needle to the mass. When it vacuums, you can hear it. It'll sound like a little tss. And then, you know, they'll take out as much tissue from the mass as needed, and you know, and then they'll kind of like patch you up. So once he told me that, I, you know, waited for them to come and get me. I was brought into this room. It's kind of dark because, of course, they have to have the ultrasound screen up to make sure that they're guiding the needle in correctly. So I laid down. I took my arm out of my right arm out of the gown, laid down. They put some towels around me and around my breast just to, you know, I guess the outline where they need to go. And then they put like a foam block underneath. So I was kind of like, I had my arm behind me like this, and I was kind of like tilted like this because the mass in my breast, if you think of a clock, it's at 8 o'clock. So it's kind of like, you know, down this way. Okay, so they had to get, you know, free access to wherever they needed to go. Okay, so once that happened, you know, the doctor said, well, I'm going to numb you now. And I guess I have a high tolerance for pain because I felt one sting and that was it. After that first sting, I really didn't feel anything else. And I guess they really numbed me to the point where I didn't feel any more pricks from the lidocaine. So, and that's what they use. They use lidocaine. So once they did that, you know, he told me that he was about to make the incision so the needle can, you know, go in. And the nurse, Kim, you know, she was kind of funny. She was like, well, you know, you'll see the needle for the lidocaine, but we kind of hide the needle for the core because after I got home and went on the internet, and I should have done this before, after I came home and went on the internet to see the core needle, that thing is huge. I mean, it's really, really thick. Like, it's thick. So I was kind of happy that she did that because, in fact, what is this? Oh, okay. This is my meat thermometer. This is how thick that needle was. And it had like a little slot right here. So it was really, really thick. But I'm so happy that I didn't see it before it was going in because I probably would have imagined myself feeling something. But anyway, so they did the incision and he said, if you feel anything sharp, let me know. Well, the first incision, I did feel a little bit of sharpness and I told him that. He immediately stopped, put some more numbing lidocaine into me. And after that, I was fine. I didn't feel anything going in. I was looking at the screen and you can see the needle like going in towards the mass, but I didn't feel anything. In fact, the only thing that I felt was the pressure from the ultrasound wand it was pressing up because, you know, you have to press up and then you have to punch the needle in. So that was the only thing that I felt. It wasn't pleasant. But it wasn't uncomfortable to the point where, you know, I was like, oh my God, that hurts. So it took them about, I'm going to say from the point of them numbing me to the point where they were finished, it took about 15 minutes. In fact, the first time that they went in, apparently they didn't get enough tissue. And so they had to go back in. He had actually pulled the needle out, and then a doctor came in and said, we need more than that. So he actually had to go back in and get some more tissue. And so the first time it took about maybe 7 to 8 minutes. And the second time he did it, I guess he was more experienced in where the mass was. I mean, not saying that he didn't know where it was, but he knew exactly where to go to the second time to get more tissue. So it took him a little bit faster. It took him about maybe 5 or 6 minutes. After that, after he pulled the needle out and he got the samples, he pressed really hard where the incision was, I guess to stop the bleeding. I didn't know how much blood it was going to be. I really didn't think that it was any blood. But once they took the ultrasound wand back and I saw it, it was a lot of blood. It was a lot of blood on that wand. So I was kind of surprised about that. So he pressed on me for about, I'm going to say about 3 minutes. Some people say they press on you for about 5 minutes to 10 minutes. It wasn't that long at all. So apparently I didn't bleed that much. Like the bleeding kind of like clotted really fast. He pressed on me, and then he put some kind of, I forgot one part. After he took out the needle the second time, he actually did have to go back in because they put a marker in you. And it's just this little tiny titanium clip that they put in you so they will know if they need to go back in again. They know exactly where they were and where exactly to go. So I did forget about that. So actually I was poked 3 times with the core needle. So anyway, once they did that and he was finished pressing on me, they put like some plastic strips on me, and then they put a gauze, and then they taped the gauze down. After they did that, got cleaned up, stood up, no dizziness, no pain, couldn't really feel anything. I had to do a light mammogram. I guess that's something that they have to do to make sure that the clip is visible, and they had to do it from different sides. So once I went back into the mammogram room. They put me in frontwards, and then I had to do it sideways. And then Kim, she asked me, she said, "You want to see the marker?" I was like, "Yeah." And it looks like it's a bright silver thing that's in your breast, and you can't feel it. It's not going to set off any alarms at the airport or anything like that. Really, just really tiny marker that they put in. And so they gave me a little sheet of how to take care of it. I'm only supposed to keep the gauze on for 24 hours, so tomorrow I'll take it off. They gave me some Tylenol. I'm not really good with Tylenol. Tylenol makes my stomach hurt. I'm really good with Advil. But they told me not to take Advil. And of course you can't take any aspirin. So, I take the Tylenol. I took one, and I just took it with a lot of food, and I'm feeling okay. But I can start to feel like the soreness that comes after you have minor surgery. So I can kind of feel soreness right here, and I can kind of feel soreness on the inside. Like if somebody like bumped you really hard in your breast, I can kind of feel that. It's not a bad soreness. Like I can lay on it and not really be bothered by it, but if I turn over and my breast moves, you can kind of feel, it's like a deep soreness. It's only been, let's see, I got it done at 10 in the morning, and it's like almost 7:30 now. I was expecting to be in a lot more pain, even with the one Tylenol, but I really don't feel any, like, really bad pain to the point where I'm laying there like, oh my God, it hurts. No, it's nothing like that. Now, mind you, it might get worse later tomorrow. I'm not really sure. But I really don't think so. I think that maybe I'll take the Tylenol today and tomorrow, and then, go from there. I have to take the dressing off tomorrow, so who knows? I may bleed out. You never know. So, I can't tell the future. But anyway, so the doctor told me it'll be 3 to 4 business days if, that they'll get the results back. Um, you know, I'm kind of like I'm not really spiritual, but I do pray. I believe in Jesus. I believe in God, and that's really helping me get through this, because anytime I start to worry or get nervous or fearful, I just throw it up to Jesus. I'll be like, Jesus, just take this from me, and then I go about my day. So I thought the waiting would be the hardest part. That's not hard for me at this point. If it is cancer, then, I'll have to go through the steps of, surgery or whatever. If it's not cancer, then, hey, I'm still feeling the same way, because, you know, it's nerve wracking, but if you have a support system, like I told my family right away, I told my son, I told my daughter, they're all supporting me and everything, and praying for me. It's okay. It's okay. Like I said, my mom was diagnosed at 55. I'm 54. So, she went through it like a champ. The only thing that I'm kind of not looking forward to, if it is cancer, is chemo. Chemo basically burnt my mother up from the inside out. I mean, her fingers got dark. She had these dark spots on her face. Of course, she lost her hair. I'm not really worried about that, because one, I wear wigs, and two, if you don't like me without hair, then just don't look at me. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm just worried about, chemotherapy, putting poisons into you, and it made my mom really sick to the point where she couldn't do anything. She was throwing up all the time. I'm not really looking forward to that. Now, as far as the surgery, that doesn't bother me, because, they have this thing, it's called a tram flap, where they do reconstruction from the fat on your stomach. I got enough for at least 2 breasts for me and like 5 for somebody else, basically. So, hey, free tummy tuck, get it reconstructed. I'm good with that. Like I said, the only thing that I'm not looking forward to, if it is cancer, is the chemo. So that's basically it. I guess, I will video myself again telling you the results and what's next. But I'm just hoping that this helps somebody out there. I don't know if anybody's going to watch it. Like I said, I don't really film myself that much, but feel free to ask me any questions about it. About it's called a core vacuum assistant biopsy. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave me any comments, questions. I'll answer them the best that I can. And like I said, when I get the results, I'll be back on here to let you guys know. All right. Thanks for looking. Take care. God bless.